they can, thank you, Donald. Is Pastor McNary on the phone or on the call? If not, Donald, would you want to lead us in prayer?
Sure. Heavenly Father, thank you for today, for your loving, your kindness, your understanding, your protection, your comfort, your guiding hand. Heavenly Father, continue to go with us. For those who are not in the meeting yet attempting to join, please guide them. Those who are traveling or who are still dealing with traffic heading home, protect them. For those who are at home not able to join the meeting because of some unforeseen circumstance, be their shield. And Father, we ask you to guide us into the light. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Well, welcome everybody to our monthly meeting. Is Chief Jones, Chief Meadows representative, is Fire and Police on the line?
Yes, Corporal Fears is here in representation of South Fulton Police Department. I'm not sure about fire.
Go right. Hello, Corporal Fears. Go right ahead. You're up.
All right. How's everybody doing this evening?
We're doing great.
Well, thank you.
All righty. So the reason for my attendance today is pretty much just to follow up from last meeting in reference to some of the concerns that you all expressed in terms of Sandtown Park and some concerns in reference to suspicious activity in some of the communities, so forth and so on. So what we've done is we've implemented a program that we run during the evening hours, which is more so extra check and patrol in those hot areas. So we did send out notification to all police, notifying them during their downtime and during those peak hours to do extra check and patrol within those areas that were of concern during the last meeting. And as it relates to the Sandtown field, because that was also a concern that was brought up during our last meeting. Parks and Rec was notified of that particular issue and has since then made corrections. I don't know if anybody has been to Sandtown Park since then, but the maintenance has been pretty on point in terms of the fields and the conditions of some of those park areas. And those were pretty much the main concerns that were expressed during that last meeting. Now I am available to answer any additional questions that you all may have pertaining to the community. And I'll also speak on some of the events that we have coming up in the city of South Fulton. Do we have any questions before I get into the events? No questions?
No questions here. No,
okay,
none here.
Okay. So our most recent event that's coming up is going to be in District 4. I know most of you all reside in District 1. However, we do have a big event coming up in District 4, which is the Fall Festival. It's generally a really, really big turnout. Councilman Sebastian does a great job with organizing that. Well, the whole council in itself, but obviously it's held in District 4, so he does most of the footwork. But all the council members do a really great job in collaborating with one another to make that event a success. And I encourage you all to come out. There's vendors, there's food, of course, and there's pretty much all the council members will be there for those who do live in District 4, and for those who live outside of District 4. There's a really good chance that you'll see your council member there as well to answer your questions if you all have any questions for your council members. I personally enjoy it. This is, I believe, the second or third year that he's hosted it, and the year prior to this, it's just been really good. So I encourage you all to come out. It's going to be at Wilkerson Mill Park, which the address for that is 8095 Wilkerson Mill Road. And we just look forward to seeing everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Outside of that, like I say, I'm here to answer any questions. If anybody may have some questions, either criminal related or court, anything at all.
Corporal Fierce, I have a question. What's the crime stats in the area? Has it's been
For District 1?
And District 2.
District 1 and District 2. Hang on.
Mm-hmm.
I can get those for you. You just hang on for 1 second.
Thank you. Sandtown is in both of those districts, Districts 1 and District 2.
Correct. Okay.
Corporal, I have a quick question. What is the date of that fall festival?
That's going to be September 16th. I'm sorry. I thought I mentioned that.
September 16th?
Yeah, it's going to be September 16th. It's going to be on a Saturday. The hours are from 2 to 7.
16th. Okay. Received. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Let's see here. District 2. Okay. All right. Bear with me. It's loading on my end. Sorry for the delay, everyone. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for that to load, do we have anybody from District 3 on here who may need their stats, or is it just 1 and 2?
It should be just 1 and 2 joining, but you never know if others are on the line.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to ask, because I didn't want to leave anyone out.
Right.
While he's loading his information, could I say something, please?
Yes.
I just wanted to say that I was in an accident at 285 and Cascade Road, and I had called for the Atlanta Police Department. As a matter of fact, we called 2 or 3 times, and they wanted to know if anybody was hurt. Well, we didn't consider ourselves hurt per se, even though my friend had a wrist that was sort of swelling now. But anyway, we had called several times. This happened about 10 minutes to 10 on the morning of August 23rd. And then it just so happened that a South Fulton policeman in a car came up the ramp, and he saw the commotion and he stopped. And I told him, I said, I appreciate you stopping. And I know this is not your territory because this is Atlanta. And I thought somebody would have been from Cascade Road or either from Martin Luther King by now. What he did was he stopped, saw what was going on, and he radioed to Atlanta so that somebody came out from Atlanta. And his name was, what was engraved on his shirt was D. Blake. And I wanted to let you all know how much I appreciated that. Like I said, I told him, I know this is not your territory. He said, that's exactly right. I said, but I appreciate you stopping. And he was the one who made sure that Atlanta sent somebody out. So I want you to know that. So it's nice to know that different territories, they can cross each other, but they can help each other at the same time. And I just wanted to say.
Yes, ma'am. And we like to make sure that we stay up on stuff like that, because at the end of the day, we all have a common goal, which is to serve the community, be it our community or someone else's. We're all public servants, and at the end of the day, we just want everybody to be taken care of and use due diligence while we do it.
Well, we appreciate it.
Okay, so I have stats up now, and year to date as follows. District 1, and these are all Part 1 crimes, so I just want to make sure that everyone's aware of the verbiage. So you have, everyone knows what Part 1 crimes are, correct? Part 1
Go ahead,
crimes, Part 1 crimes
explain it.
being, okay, so Part 1 crimes are serious crimes, murders, carjacking, rape, so forth and so on, those type of crimes. And the lower end, larceny, which is another word for theft, domestics, so forth and so on. But the Part 1 crimes is mostly what the community wants to stay abreast to, which in District 1, as it relates to the Part 1 crimes, murder year to date is 1, rape year to date is 2, robbery year to date is 11, year to date for aggravated assault is 10, year to date for burglary is 17, year to date for larceny from vehicle, which is motor vehicle break-ins, year to date is 69. Larceny other, meaning it could be shoplifting, it could be from inside of a semi truck, or it's both of them combined, from business and motor vehicle, which is year to date 209. Auto theft year to date is 62, and those are the numbers from those are the numbers of 2023. And just to give you some insight compared to 2022, I'll go over the Part 1 crimes for year to date from 2022. 0 murders in District 1, 2 rapes in District 2, uh, 13 robberies, so 18 aggravated assault, 23 burglary, 60 larceny, 180 larceny other, and 42 theft. So there was a decrease from 2022 to 2023 in District 1, with the exception of that one murder, which happened over at in Cascading late, I think it's Cascading Landing over on Cascade Palmetto Highway, which was a isolated incident. It was a domestic incident between two individuals, two male individuals, I believe, that were intimate with another female individual, and they crossed paths and things spiraled out of control, which resulted in murder. And District 2, Part 1 crimes year to date for 2023, also one murder. For rape, there's been 0. Robberies, there's only been 2. Aggravated assault, 25. Burglary, 7. Larceny from vehicle, 26. Larceny other, 58. And auto theft, 24. So compared to District 1, District 2 is in a little better shape in terms of Part 1 crimes. And comparing to 2022 in District 2, there were 2 murders, 1 rape, 1 robbery, 20 aggravated assault, 14 burglary, 15 larceny, larceny from vehicle, 83 larceny other, and 36 motor vehicle thefts. So that's also a decrease compared to 2022, given that there were 2 murders and 2 rapes in 2022, and there was only 1 murder in 2023 and 0 rapes in 2023. So both districts have seen a significant decrease in crime since last year.
Great. It's always good to kind of know those stats, and um, we need, as a community, we need to be diligent in reporting things that need to be reported,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
and that kind of thing. So that's why I asked, and I appreciate that information.
Yes, ma'am. And I
Does it?
just encourage everybody to just keep doing what you're doing. You see something, please say something. Um, most people have my contact information, but for those who don't, I will put it in the chat so that some of you all can reach out to me directly. just keep us abreast to what's going on, because the only way that we can change things is if we know about it. So please do stay on top of it, and we'll do our due diligence to make sure we respond accordingly.
We appreciate
Can
that.
I?
Thank you very.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry.
Oh,
Hersh-
sorry. This is Delphine. Is it okay for me to say anything or ask any
Sure.
questions?
Sure.
Oh, okay. So I think it's no secret of what happened in District 1 in our subdivision at Sandtown Center subdivision. There was a big drug bust that happened. It was
Yes,
over the
ma'am.
news and everything. I don't know if I missed you talking about it, but
No,
can you
ma'am.
shed some
We
light?
didn't cover it.
Oh, okay.
No, ma'am. We
Can you
didn't
shed
cover
any
it.
light on it? I was just about to send an email so I can kind of get it privately, but I can
Well,
still do
I
that.
don't want to spread any misinformation. That would be
Okay.
a question that the supervisor over in narcotics could answer for you. Because like
Okay.
again, I don't want to give you any misinformation. I am aware of the incident.
Hmm.
I just don't have all the details to give you an accurate response.
Hey, Corporal
And
Fears, can you give me your email address?
yes, ma'am.
Well,
It's
okay.
Octavius.Fears. That's OCTAVIUS dot FEARS at cityofsouthfultonga.gov. Now,
Okay. All right. I'll just
if you
tag you
want to
onto the
email me,
email.
then I can actually get that information for you and send it back to you on a later date, like more than likely probably Monday. I can get that to you. That way, that gives me a couple of days to kind of gather what happened and get you some type of disposition, just so that you're comfortable.
I appreciate that, but the way I operate, I send it to Catherine, to
Okay,
Dr.
me too.
Catherine,
That's
the
absolutely
chief,
fine.
and yeah, and I'll make sure I copy you just on the email so you'll have it. Whoever
Yes,
takes
ma'am.
it and give us the information, that's cool too.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Delphine. Are there any other questions for Corporal Fears? Well, thank you so much for the information and joining the call. One quick note, someone put in the chat, there is a free cycle bulk day and paper shredding in District 1 on Saturday, September 9th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So pay attention to the chat. People are adding comments in the chat. Is Chief Jones or somebody from the fire representing Chief Jones on the call? All righty. Well, we're going to move on. Rockhaven Homes has joined us today.
Miss
I
Lee.
think Brad.
Hello, Miss
I'm
Lee.
sorry.
This is Mr. Charles. I have a question pertaining
Sure.
to the dirt dump. Do we have any sense of when that recycling facility will be open on Merck Road? When it's going to reopen?
I can respond.
Okay. Go right ahead.
So you have seen recycling events happen across the city, trying to make it convenient for different parts of the city to participate. Currently, there's an RFP on the street to identify a provider. They've already had the pre-bid conference for that solicitation. And so we would anticipate, I think it closes next week. 30 to 45 days from that time that it would be back in operation. So we're getting close. You'll continue to see shredding and bulk day events until we get it back open during this interim period. But we're looking forward to bringing it back online.
Okay, receive. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Great. Great. Again, Rockhaven Homes is on the line. Brad, you are up.
Wonderful. Thank you. For some reason, I can't get my camera to turn on, so I apologize.
That's okay.
But I appreciate y'all's time today, and I just wanted to share, if I can, we have about 6 acres that under contract that we want to bring before mayor and council and the community to rezone for townhomes to add as phase 2 of our existing Sandtown townhome development that's currently about to be hopefully final and platted next week. We, then finish, get some more building permits and start. But it's right at the intersection of where they're updating or upgrading the intersection and adding a red light at Stonewall Tell and Campbellton Road. And I'll try to share my screen and
while he's trying to share his screen, everybody, this is the development that's right there in the curve at Campbellton Road and Stonewall Tell.
Yeah.
If you're going toward Douglasville, it's right there on the right hand side.
Can y'all see this?
Yeah. Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so
here. I don't see a picture. Oh.
So where
there it
Stonewall, Stonewall dead ends into Campbellton. This is the piece of property right here, and then to the left, there's a triangle piece. To the left of this, it's about 6 acres. It's been on the market for several years, and we want to add it. And I'll so can y'all see my screen now with the site plan?
Yes.
So it'll be a continuation. We won't have another entrance off of Stonewall or off of Campbellton, because of the way it's shaped. It comes in at a kind of a corner at the intersection. That's just not a good access point, and we think it actually will feel better and look better coming in off of our interior street. So it'll come in on the lower side, and then it'll be an additional 45 units there. And this is kind of the way it looks right now. With the streets in, and then to the left of it is where this 6 acres is that we'd like to rezone for townhomes, this piece right here. So it'll be a continuation of what we currently have now. And again, we just think we have 3 buildings up, and as soon as we get the final plat, we'll start another 5 buildings. And so far there's been a lot of good interest in it, and looking forward to hopefully continuing to add another 45 units to this. So just wanted to bring this up, get y'all's thoughts before we made application to the city, and just let y'all know that this is what we're wanting to do, and get y'all's feedback, and then hopefully make the submittal to the city next week to start the rezoning process.
What is it zoned now?
It is zoned. I know you're going to ask that. Hold on one second.
Okay.
I'll pull that up. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Should have had that, and I apologize.
That's okay. So the work to change Campbellton Road as Stonewall Tell in terms of how that street will be changed, it's gonna still do that, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it won't have any effect. It's zoned R5 currently right now, and we want to go to DR.
Okay, so then, and on that additional 6 acres, and you said something about it'll help with the interior roads in the community.
Yes, ma'am. So I'll reshare my screen. Hold on.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand.
So it's this about 6 acres, yellow piece right here, where it says R5. So you can kind of see how it's, a weird kind of triangle shape. Just with the sight distance and being this close to the intersection, it really doesn't, lend itself to need another access point. So we're coming in off of the interior, which is coming in. Well, get my pen. So we'd be coming in right here, and this will be the access point to the existing subdivision, which is about, it'll come in right here and end the property.
Okay. So from the interior of the community, then you'll have a connection over there to the 6 acres where you want to put an additional, you said 45 townhomes in that section? Okay.
This is about how the property
Yeah.
check.
Okay.
So and this will be, this is being teed up now to be straightened out. So this will be the new road here, and then it'll go away. This will be, the new intersection with, red light and all that.
Right. Right. Does anyone have any questions about that change?
So that's going to be a red light turnout on Camilton and Stonewall Tail.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I don't know why I thought there was going to be a roundabout.
Okay. No, it's going to be a, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And how much more traffic do you think that's going to put on that road right there with the 45 extra townhouses?
It's, we hadn't gotten an initial, but you'd think another, somewhere between, 70 and 90 vehicles, in the morning and in the afternoon. But
Yeah.
That's not a professional. That's just me, guessing based on, who we're, looking, but, based on two cars per unit, I'd be, 90 vehicles in the morning, and in the afternoon throughout the day, that'll be, added to there.
For the traffic. Okay.
Can I just clarify? So is I think it's Chattahoochee.
Yes, ma'am.
So it would be just that intersection and then the main entrance that's gonna come with the road realignment. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so it'll be 2 entrances.
Yes, you'll have the main entrance will be off of Camilton when the new red light gets installed, and then you'll also have a second entrance, which you see kind of on the top right-hand side with the roundabout off of Chattahoochee will come in off there as well.
Okay. Which is how it is. That's the only way you can currently get into it right now, because you have the road widening and all the improvements that are currently happening.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're making pretty good progress. I don't know what, the update the city's giving y'all, but talking to the DOT folks out there about a week and a half ago, they think that, they're about 3 or 4 months away from having that wrapped up. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they told us.
Oh, that's like by the end of the year.
It's supposed to be by the end of the year. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's going to help that traffic flow down there tremendously coming out of and coming out of Douglasville, and also coming off of Stonewall Tail, because that's a blind spot.
Yes, ma'am.
And okay. Do we have any other questions? For me, I don't have a problem with changing the zoning to fit with what you all are doing now. Will there be any kind of buffer along the line of Camp Creek and those additional townhomes? So is there going to be
we'll continue the lanes, the buffer along Campbellton as well on down. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because I know there you had planned to put a buffer there in,
yes, there'll be a buffer from Chattahoochee all the way. Yeah, there'll be a landscaping buffer from Chattahoochee all the way down to the new entrance, and then you know, if we can, you know, get this rezoned and added to it, we'll just continue that all the way down to the end of the property line.
Okay, cool. I like that idea too. So you won't be able to, it'll look nice with a continuous buffer from one end, basically from one end to the other. Any other
Mr. Hughes, make
questions?
it very attractive, please. The
Yes, ma'am.
landscaping.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Oh, let's see. I think we got got a question in the chat. That's more density and more traffic onto a 2-lane roadway. Hopefully
To
with
clarify, let me share this. If you
Go
watch
ahead.
as this development along Camilton is coming online, GDOT is gradually expanding the road. You see it happening right now at Riverside, where Story Riverside is. That's how they're expanding. This intersection improvement, this was one of the conditions about the original approval on these townhouses. You can tell that the road is widening as these projects come online.
And that's the good thing about DOT and what we have been experiencing as the projects come online. They're at the table, and they are helping with the road improvements as we go, because I think everybody knows we don't want to make a 4-lane highway, 5-lane highway from the Douglasville line all the way to down Camilton Road, cross Camp Creek, and all of that. So we're trying to, as the projects come on board, change this stuff incrementally, so it won't be, we don't want trucks flying down Camilton Road. They can stay on Camp Creek, but when they come through the neighborhoods, we need to, deter trucks from coming through there. So, do we have any other questions? Oh, Miss Hilliard, I see your name.
Yes,
your hand, I'm sorry.
Thank you. When you say, Councilman Rowe, that GDOT is expanding, you mean they're just adding the required left and right turn lanes that are required when you have
I'm talking about decel lanes.
Yeah, right. Decel lane, left turn lanes. Is that what you're talking about? Because Ms. Davis just said that you're not moving forward. I know like 20 years ago or so, Sandtown fought against the widening of Camilton Road, and now we have all this density and everything. So when you say you're expanding, are you speaking about just the left and right turn lanes that are required?
There is some widening going on as we go, but they're not just unilaterally. They're doing it as the projects are coming online. I think that's what it's been incremental.
But I mean, I ask you, are you just talking about, when you said expanding, you're just talking about the right and left turn lanes, right? Because Ms. Davis just said they're not doing a 4-lane or 5-lane. Are you just talking about the right and left turn lanes that are required when you put in a subdivision?
No, there's some discussions about widening along Camilton
Additional
Road.
through lanes, you say? Additional through lanes.
Additional improvements. Hopefully I'll be able to have a town hall in the very near future to talk about some plans that they're working through on various aspects. The one that we're talking about, like this improvement at Camilton and Stonewall Tail, is one, but it's not the only one that they're projecting for along there, because they know what projects are planned to come at this area.
But those aren't capacity projects, though. Those are just intersection improvements, and like I said, they're not capacity projects. They're not capacity projects, though.
But some of them are. Again, a lot of this had to do, you're right. So they did oppose it, but we know we have to do something with our roads throughout the city, even some of our local roads. We're even talking about it on some of our local roads. So again, this project, we're kind of just speaking about this, but there are conversations that GDOT is having and working with our Public Works Department on that. Even if you look in front of Brittany Park, if you look at Reynolds Road, they never extended. They knew they were going to have to make additional modifications to this road in the future. So if
Reynolds
you look,
Road you're speaking of, or
Camilton Road, like so if you
Camilton.
even look where the sidewalk stopped, they stopped at Reynolds Road. They knew that additional changes needed to be made. Brittany Park, if you can look, the sidewalks sit back. There is opportunity to expand these roads. What that will ultimately look like, there are discussions ongoing with the Public Works Department and GDOT.
Well, I
along
understand.
Hamilton Road.
I understand what you're saying, but I still beg to differ. They're not capacity projects because, like Ms. Davis said, the Sandtown opposed it at least 20 years ago, and so I mean you have to have left or right turn lanes where you have these. Those are just intersection improvements. So, but thank you for.
I think Mr. Davis is trying to speak, but he's muted.
I'm sorry. If I can respond to Ms. Hilliard, we were all a part of Sandtown back in the day, and our opposition was that they were planning on turning Campbellton Road into a parkway where there were 2 lanes in each direction and a median and or turn lane, and that would be east of where the roundabout currently sits. The pressure point, for the most part, is west of Camp Creek Parkway, and the commercial nodes that we worked with the ARC and the like 20-some years ago are coming to fruition. So we anticipated some growth in capacity, but it's not a whole-scale widening effort that might be, 6 to 7 miles long. They're pretty much local capacity issues. And again, at the end of the day, GDOT, these are their roads. And so
I understand. Actually, I worked for GDOT, and this project was actually my project.
Okay.
The one that's out front. So, and then my husband worked for GDOT too. So I understand what you're saying. We moved out here on this in 1999. And so we were in on those discussions with Sandtown and everything like that. So that's why I was saying, looking at the and there's existing right of way and everything. And we know that you're building within the existing, but we also had proposed right of way to ensure that when it was widened, if it was widened, because I know then they were, Joe Pilati used to be the urban design engineer, and they were offering sidewalks and beautiful lighting and bike lanes and the whole 9, because this is a bike corridor. So I understand what you're saying, but what we're doing at these intersections is not adding capacity, which of course is what we think we need.
Right. And I had
a
a flashback when you mentioned that engineer, because I worked with him back in the day.
Joe Pilati?
Yes, Joe Pilati.
Yeah, that was my boss, yeah.
I interacted with him back in the day because what people might not recall is going past the 2 schools, there was just 1 lane in each direction. And I live off of New Hope Road. And at the time, when the car riders' parents were lining up to take them to school, the traffic would back up all the way from Randolph Elementary down to Boat Rock, and in some cases down New Hope Road. And I was able to collaborate with Mr. Pilati, and that's when we got Fulton County to widen the road in front of the schools and put turn lanes in place. A lot of people might not remember that. I'm sure you do. But GDOT has always worked with us in a collaborative fashion. And, the roundabout that we see now is the fruition of Blueprint Sandtown from over 20 years ago.
Yes, I remember the Blueprint Sandtown, yes. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Davis.
Ms. Hilliard, I do want to let you know they are looking at some additional roundabouts and some other discussions. Again, I don't know if they're ready if they're at the final stage, but there are additional conversations and so on. Like I said, hopefully we'll be able to bring them back by the end of the year, and they'll have more information. They touched on it a little bit at Councilwoman Gumbs town hall meeting that was held last week, and I'll try to share the link in the chat.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, I'm gathering that I don't hear any opposition to what Mr. Hughes is asking for. So what is the next steps? What is needed from us, Councilman Rao?
Well, actually, he's going to submit, and it'll just have to go through the formal process.
Okay.
I mean, I guess he can come back and keep us apprised as things are moving forward. But, this is something that, I'm here listening to feedback. I don't hear any major concerns. So we'll go from there. If you need to share other insights as we go along, just let me know.
Okay. Brad, is there anything else?
No, ma'am. I greatly appreciate y'all's time, and as Dr. Roll said, as we move forward, if we need to, we certainly can, and we'll just go through the formal process and take it from here. But thank y'all for letting me come on tonight and share this with you.
Okay, thank you for coming. Miss
Thank y'all. Have a good
Warren,
night.
you too. Miss Warren, are you on the line? She is not. Miss Marbury, are you on the line to give us an update on the sewer expansion?
Good afternoon. I'm here.
Oh, hello.
Good
Any
afternoon.
updates?
Yes, ma'am. I'm excited. We have good evening, everyone. It's your neighbor, Juanita. And thank you for this platform for Sandtown Association. We have completed phase 1. We completed the signatures, and I want to thank my neighbors for their enthusiasm that they shown through the whole process. I actually exceeded the signatures needed to complete the process, and we're excited. I understand the residents have been trying to get this done for 20 years, and they were leaping at the opportunity to get it done. So it was not hard getting the signatures we needed. I did send out an updated text to each one of the people that listed their name on the petition, so they would know the timeline, so they'll know what to expect. But for phase 2 of the process, we have submitted the petition, of course, to Public Works, and they have begun their process. Now, their process is going to be 4 steps. The first step would be the geological testing, where they will come out and test the soil, the rock, and the water to see what we have here in our grounds, so they can see the most feasible way to lay out the pipes. The design engineer would create the pipe layout. Step 3 would be they will submit the final package to Fulton County for approval. And step 4 would they will contract the bids out for the project. The estimated start date is March 2025. That's estimated. And he wanted me to emphasize that because he didn't want to be held to a specific date, but that is the estimated date. The estimated completion of the entire project is July 2026, a 3-year process. I also would like to thank Councilman Rao for being so patient with us and with me and supporting us in all that we're trying to do to get our neighborhood to be the best neighborhood ever. And I appreciate her. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Any questions or concerns?
Let me see. I think somebody just put something in the chat. Let's see.
Thank you.
Great job.
Oh, perfect.
Great. Well, I'm excited for you all too, because I know that has been a desire of your community to get on the sewer. So I'm happy for you as well. Go ahead.
I just reached out to Francesca. She's still at Westlake. They have those parent meetings and the like. And her question was, are we ending before 8?
I don't know. The next person on the agenda is Councilman Rao and Councilman Gums if she's on the line. So
I'll let her know to try and jump in if she can.
Okay. Councilman Rao, you're up.
Thank you for your attendance today. Just a couple quick updates, and then I'll open up for just general questions. As I posted in the chat, we have a bulk and shredding day on this Saturday at Merck Miles. Again, these will continue to be available across the city as one also on the 16th in District 7. So again, we're just trying to make sure that we're spreading them out across the city until we bring Merck Mouse online. It is currently an RFP process along with 12 other solicitations to include the repaving and several bridge projects that impact District 1. The first one being Enon Road, which is between Camilton and Wallace Road, the bridge that's closest to Camilton Road, as well as the Fairburn Bridge, which is the bridge between Cascade going towards Benjamin Mays. So there are currently 2 RFPs that are out there for solicitation. I'm looking forward to seeing this work come online. And in October, look for the date. We're still trying to finalize it. I've gotten a lot of inquiries or concerns about electricity reliability. So I'm partnering with Greystone Power to have this conversation to talk about some improvements or concerns that you may have about your service. District 1 is, I guess, unique in that we're split. Half of the area is covered by Georgia Power and half is covered by Greystone. So again, we're working through those issues. One of the things, if you do not get my newsletter, you can put your information in the chat. I shared that the city council did vote to roll back the millage rate by half a mil for 2024. We have had our 3rd budget hearing. We will actually vote on that budget on the 12th at our regular city council meeting. There are a number of improvements that are proposed in that budget, which I've been highlighting in the newsletter. Many of them related to capital improvements, as well as the city beginning its effort to build our public safety headquarters, one for fire, which will be on Cascade, Palmetto, along with the training facility for fire and police, a joint training center, as well as our courts and police headquarters on Old National. So 2 really big milestones for the city. Looking forward to those projects moving forward in 2024. I guess that's it, and I'll just open it up for questions at this time. You know, the departments cover a lot of it, so I'm really just hitting on things that haven't been touched on by various staff.
Any questions? Does anyone have any questions for Councilman Rao?
I have a question. Someone asked me today, Councilman Rao, about the Quick Trip and whether or not Atlanta Watershed is going to do their infrastructure work to allow the project to start.
Yes, actually, we got it resolved this week. I've been working with the water commissioner. We've been able to move forward on that. For those who don't know, at Cascade at 285, next to Bank of America, that's where the Quick Trip is going. You currently have on the opposite side of the street, which is the city of Atlanta, a lot of coordination efforts going on that. You see the Raw Design Studio currently under construction. If you go that way, after that facility is built, then the 2 gas stations that are there will be demolished, and that's where the Audis will go. So a lot of changes you'll see over the next couple of years along Cascade Road. I think that'll be a significant facelift, and so we'll be coordinating closely with the city of Atlanta. 2 other things that I'll bring to your attention: both the city of Atlanta and the city of South Fulton have put money in the 2024 budget for improvements to the exit ramp. I would love Cascades to look as beautiful as Fulton Industrial. So Councilwoman Overstreet has put some money on the table, and there's money in the city of South Fulton budget to do that, so we can coordinate, because half of it is theirs and half is ours. So stay tuned. I'm looking forward to some improved streetscape around Cascade. for 2024. I should also note, the hours for Walmart are scheduled to change. I cannot tell you the exact date, but they're talking about an earlier closing. I think the time I've heard now would be 9 o'clock. Just wanted to kind of share that some new information for those who shop at Walmart. But I guess those are the major changes that we have currently in the Cascade corridor.
Did they give a reason why they're changing their hours?
I think they're dealing with staffers. They're looking at maybe their shrinkage, a number of things, trying to figure out what's the right solution for Walmart. So, and you know, they've been making changes across the board. They closed several in Metro Atlanta. We're going to stay tuned. September 16th.
You know, they are reopening the one in Vine City off of Martin Luther King, the one that they boarded up recently. It was on 11 Alive. They are reopening it and putting a police precinct in it, and it's supposed to open in March of 2024, March or May.
I will continue to keep you posted as these changes kind of go through, but just wanted to make people aware who shop there.
Yeah.
Oh, and I don't know, just want to mention, do people know that the Grady Outpatient Center is also now in front of Kroger's? It is open. It's in a medical building that it had been unoccupied for a while on the front part of the Kroger's shopping plaza right there at Cascade.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, I included a couple of newsletters and I put it on Facebook, but just wanted to let you know that that's a new addition to the neighborhood.
Ms. Marbury, you have a question?
I do. Dr. Catherine, just information. I was there at Walmart today and there were only 2 employees at the cash registers, and the other lines were open for self-check. 2 employees. The rest of the lines were self-check.
I'm sure this has a lot to do with what they're trying to figure out what works. You know, staffing is an issue with everybody.
Well,
correct.
Unfortunately, they've had some issues there because they have 2 bays that have self-checkout, and you know, each of those bays has like 16 registers or so, but one of those bays has been down for over a month. My contact with the store manager, I haven't been able to get a hold of him because he's on a leave of absence, and the regional manager is on has changed, but apparently the reason those are down is because they're waiting for hardware from corporate. But it is maddening the length of the lines that have been there, and I'm doing all I can to reach out to somebody that can give us some authoritative answers about it. But they do have staffing problems as well, and you know, my thing at the end of the day is, rather than go to another location in another neighborhood, I'm just going to be the thorn in the side for them to resolve the issues with the stores in our neighborhood, so we get the sales tax revenue.
And I want to thank you, Mr. Davis, personally. You and Rich Wilkins, y'all my kind of Walmart ambassadors. It really takes a team effort with community to kind of stay on top of these businesses about what they do. That could be almost a full-time job, honestly. So, you know, trying to make sure these stores, and again, we understand staff and shortages, but they've had some changes with leadership, a number of them over time, and it makes it hard to have continuity too when they're changing management and the like. So, thank you for your efforts on that. And we're also, you know, been working. Mr. Davis has been working to continue to advocate for the locks carts. We thought we kind of had it under wraps, and then it seems like 2 steps backward. So
right.
We're going to keep at it.
Cool. Are there any other questions for Councilman Rowell?
Ms. Davis, I have question, but this would probably apply to the fire department. I live on Reynolds Road, and I noticed at the intersection of Reynolds Road and Camilton Road, we have a fire hydrant that has been down for quite some time. And it's rather close to my house. Lord's willing, I just hope we don't have any fire in the very near future. But that fire hydrant has been down for a while, and just was concerned about when it will be up and operational.
Well,
So,
to be
go ahead.
clear, our fire department can escalate the sense of importance, but the fire hydrants in our city are maintained by Atlanta Watershed, who provides our water. So at the end of the day, we've had instances where there have been hydrants out for quite some time, and we would all tag team and go on to Atlanta311.com to report the fire hydrant, as well as solicit the support from Chief Chad Jones, because he's happy to make sure that happens, because that's a resource that they may need. So
I'll follow up though. I'll
Okay.
follow up. I have a good relationship with the watershed commissioners and see what the status is. But you're right, it is watershed, but she is very responsive. So I'll follow up and see if I can get an update or how soon they can get at it. Usually when I see her send a follow-up email, that usually happens in a couple of days. So
awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Any other questions? Is Councilwoman Gums on the line? She usually has a conflict with our meetings. I don't know, Councilwoman Rao, do you have any updates from her district, or did she share anything with you?
No, I know they're just still working through the Westwood project and getting input. I know it is her plan to bring it back to Sandtown. We had a great joint meeting, the first one with the South Fulton Development Authority and the City Council this week. And so I think her plan is to kind of bring that back and get input from you all about that project. So I don't want to steal her thunder, but I know she wants to probably do that next month.
Okay. All right. I'll circle back to her.
And I see Chief Meadows is with us now.
Oh, okay. Chief Meadows, do you have anything to add?
So Dr. Warren.
Hello, how's everybody doing?
Great.
We're doing well. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, great. No, I was just getting on to listen on. We haven't had anything new come up. I know I just did receive an email about I guess the drug bust that took place out in the Sandtown community.
On Big Boat.
On a big boat dock, I believe it was.
That's it.
Right. Well, that's part of it had been a long investigation that was taking place. What we're finding out is that we have a lot of drugs that's being shipped into the city of South Fulton, and we have a really good working relationship with the postal inspectors. And so usually when those investigations manifest, they come together very quickly. But unfortunately for this one, it took a couple of months before we were able to get some resolution in it. I know that you all were asking for certain pieces of information. Listen, we want to be as transparent as we can as it relates to these types of investigations. I know one of the questions or concerns was about the SWAT unit coming in. Typically, before SWAT is deployed, we have a threat matrix, and it's usually based on the target, the person that we're looking for, and their history and so forth. And so we kind of take that very seriously. When that threat matrix rises to the level of the deployment of the SWAT unit. And so in this particular case, there was a pretty good history as it relates to this particular individual. And so we just wanted to make sure that we take every precaution. And I know there was an issue about a mailbox or something, but when we're approaching a residence, there's certain ways that we do it. Especially when it comes to the Bearcat coming up on a property. We want to make sure that we're reducing any chance that our officers will be hurt, and reducing also the possibility that we may have to engage the target individual in some sort of heightened activity. And so at the end of the day, things worked out as it should. We were able to place the individual in custody. I've asked my people to gather the information for you all so that we could send it out. There's some parts of it that we won't be able to give out. But at the end of the day, we have several more investigations throughout the city that we're in the process of working. So having said that, if you all have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Favorite,
Anybody? Go ahead.
favorite chief. This is Juanita on Boat Rock.
Hey, Juanita, how are you?
Hey, you mean to tell me less than a mile from my house we had a drug bust?
Yeah, unfortunately, we have a lot of people that's shipping drugs now. We're not saying that they were selling out of that particular house, but the drugs were shipped in to that location, and they're then transported to a distribution location. And so, fortunately, we were able to get the illegal narcotics before they made it to the place to where they would have been sold. And so there's always a middleman, and in this case, we were able to um, intercept the middleman before it made it to the distribution location.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
But Chief, we had a young man that would continue to walk up and down Boat Rock Road, and I did report it. I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but I never could figure out where he lived. But he would walk all day and all night. One night at 9 o'clock, I saw him outside walking on the sidewalk.
Yeah, those sort of things, the information that we get is really good for us, because what we usually try to do is tie it to something that we're working in the immediate area, some of the investigations that we have ongoing. And I believe, I'm not sure that was tied to this particular address, but what I will do, Juanita, is check on it for you.
Okay. Well, thank you for all you do, Chief.
All right. Thank you so much. Any more questions?
Chief, this is Councilwoman Rao. Can you speak to, I've recently got additional calls about squatters. I don't know if this has been an issue throughout, but I have had several subdivisions identify that they're having issues. Is there a way you can speak to how communities can respond to these issues, HOAs, if they are aware of this occurring?
Yeah, I wish, unfortunately, this is happening throughout the state of Georgia, and we've asked many of our state legislators to address the squatters' rights law because it's becoming extremely problematic in a lot of communities. And so, if we have properties that are abandoned, it's really important that HOAs have a great relationship or a good relationship with the owners if they're absent, so that we could get information, to them when we see people in and around the property. Because once a person gets in, then there's a process that they have to go through to get them out. Now, in many cases, people think that eviction is the only way, but that's not necessarily true. There's a such thing called an intruder's warrant, but you have to have an affidavit from the homeowner in order for law enforcement to respond to it. And so keeping in touch with the owners of those properties is extremely important, because a lot of times we'll find out that someone's retired, moved to Florida, and just left the house vacant. And then we have to try to track down the owner of the house. And usually that in and of itself sometimes can be a long process. And so if the HOAs are aware, you could kind of help us out by doing the research up front, calling and letting us know if you're seeing suspicious individuals in and around those properties, so that we can kind of get the ball rolling on it. Because once they get in and set up house in a lot of these vacant properties, it's like pulling teeth, really trying to get them out.
Chief Meadows,
Wow.
it's my understanding that there's an ordinance of some sort where if you have a property that's going to be vacant I don't know if it's a month or two or whatever, that they're supposed to register that with
You're
the
supposed to
cities?
register. You're supposed to register it with, I believe it's CDRA. I'll double check on that, but I'm pretty sure it's with CDRA that you should register that, or maybe, well, I'm getting that confused because
That's
code
correct,
enforcement.
Chief. You're
Okay.
correct. I just put the
Okay.
link. I just put the link in the chat. If
Okay.
you're aware of it and you're HOA president, please make sure you're vacant properties, because that will help a lot.
It really will. Yeah, because I know that at one time code enforcement was under CDRA. Does it go through code enforcement, Councilwoman, or it just goes straight through CDRA?
Well, it might. I think it's going to be a change effective October 1st. So
Okay.
if you register it's going to the right place now. But I think there'll be some realignment of departments and things. So
Right. Okay. All right.
Well, all right. Keep Chief Meadows, thank you for joining us today. And if we don't have any other questions for Chief Meadows, I don't know, Harvey is
Give me a sec. Let me see if I can get her on.
okay. Stephanie Hudson, are you on the call? Do you have anything you want to share? She's not responding.
Oh yeah, I'm here, and nothing
Okay, go ahead.
exciting. Nothing exciting is going on, but I do want to say that the Atlanta Realtors Association is supporting Councilwoman Rowell. I don't know if that's allowed, but just want to say that.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Our District 4 school board member is on the line.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. I'm so sorry I'm late. I had open house for Sandtown and Westlake tonight. So I rushed home to get on the call. So thank you guys for having me.
Wonderful. Well, you are up.
Thank you. I think since the last time that I came to you guys, we had our last millage hearing and we voted to roll back the millage from 17.24 to 17.14, I believe. But we did vote to roll it back. One of the things that we tried to do is that we didn't want to roll it back too much and have to roll it up. So every year since I've been on the board, this is my third year, we've rolled it back a little bit just to try to make sure that we're being conservative in our rollback. With the additional, with the tax revenue that we were getting, we've been doing a lot of work on auditing our sports facilities. So I don't know if you guys know this, but all of our high schools are getting new scoreboards, which for some people is like, oh, it's not a big deal. However, when we're talking about funding our programs and things that go with it, the scoreboards are a considerable cost, and something that we decided to do. So these scoreboards will have video, they'll have sponsor areas, so Westlake will be getting theirs. In addition to that, we are looking at, we are putting in practice turfs. So one of the things that we're doing throughout is that to preserve the grass is to put practice turf at all of our high schools. So you guys will be seeing that. Across the district, back to school was very successful. One of the things we've been trying to problem solve around is with this record Georgia heat is air in buses. There's been lots of talk about most school districts. Buses really weren't made for air to be in them. I don't think anybody thought that it would be 100 degrees on the buses. And so we, with our CARES funds, we bought 30 new buses. And so we are replacing our oldest buses with those. And every year we are trying to buy more buses. I've asked the superintendent to see if we can get some portable air conditioning for the buses, kind of like what you have in a house when you don't have central air, but something that they can put in to relieve the kids and the bus drivers. And so they're trying to problem solve on that. One of the things that we realize is that when they go in to retrofit an air conditioner for a school bus, they're first off finding somebody who can do it and do it for that much of a fleet, but also the problems that it causes with the leaking in the roof and just trying to retrofit it. And so we're looking to just continue to buy buses to get that number up. We do have air conditioned buses for our students with special needs, but for all of our buses, it's just going to be a process. And so that's something that we've been talking about, and how do we problem solve and and address some of those. This year, starting off, both Westlake and Sandtown, we have them at a manageable student population. Westlake right now sits at about 2,000-ish kids, about 2,090, which is a big difference between 2,547 kids, which was last year. We knew this year would still be a little bit up, because when we redistricted and we allowed kids who had been at Westlake, so if you were a ninth grader last year, you were able to stay at Westlake. And so as we're going through and as we're looking at the numbers, every year the enrollment will go down a little bit as those students who were grandfathered in graduate from the school. At Sandtown, we're looking at about 1,002 kids. And so we are trying to make sure that they did a lot of work in the summer to make sure that their records matched Westlake on kids that we had been taken out of the system. So things have been really, really calm. One of the things I will tell parents, there was a scare this weekend with a child who on their own social media posted a threat to the school. It was addressed through our code of conduct with the student. But I want to caution parents, because school threats are very, very serious. And sometimes our kids just don't know that. And so if I'll use Mr. Davis as an example, if Mr. Davis makes a threat, and I know you would never do that, but I'm just saying, if you did that and you're 15 and you put it on social media, per our code of conduct, that is an automatic placement to alternative school. We have a tip line that you can leave tips at 24/7. And the reason why I push people to that is that an email can be lost, but once you put it in the tip line, it goes to our police investigators and it goes to our principal. So they know immediately. And so we very quickly caught the student who made the threat. I don't think it was a credible threat, but it was a threat. And so one of the things I've been telling parents is, really monitor what your children are doing on social media, because they don't see it as a big deal. They see it as, trying to get their classmates riled up. But in this day and age, we've just had to make sure that all threats are taken seriously. In addition to that, we are spending some time with the old Westlake building in the next couple of months to a year and looking at what to do with that facility. One of the things that we have been talking about, because it's so close to Westlake and it's in the community, is the next steps in making it a professional learning site in the next SPLOST. Tearing it down, rebuilding it as a professional learning SPLOST. We have not gotten to the part of tearing it down, what it looks like, but we have been getting it appraised and some of the work around it. Before we would tear it down or that, I would bring it to you guys. A lot of people went there when it was Lakeshore and other names. And so just what we do with the bricks, people would probably want one, but we have been talking about it. And doing it a space where it's not only a professional learning center, but it's also an event center for us to have, whether it's board meetings there, but also for us to have other events for schools there. So that's been on our conversation piece. I've said a lot, and I have a couple more things, but I want to pause in case anybody had any additional questions and or concerns. Okay. Another thing that we have been anxiously doing this year is planning for, I spoke a little bit about this around our facilities. Of course, at Westlake, they got a new weight room and got updated, but we've really been taking account for our facilities and what each person has, and making sure that there's equity around what people have. And so we are looking at some recommendations around just the upkeep. I'll give you an example. Westlake has a concession stand. They have a couple of concession stands. And so looking at how do we retrofit them? How do we make sure that they have the new things that they need? How do we make sure that the stadium is upkept? How do we make sure that the lines on the track are repainted in a timely fashion? We allocated $20 million more to maintenance for some of those concerns that we had around the white paint stripes and just the upkeep of all of our properties. so I'm seeing some really great things when I'm going into the schools to show that money is being used in the right way. But that's just something that we're always looking at, is the maintenance and how do we maintain it. One of the things that I've been trying to work on, Mr. Davis actually alerted me to this, is the flag at A. Philip Randolph. Nobody is servicing it. And so trying to get the Westlake JRTC to go over there a couple of days a week, raise the flag, take the flag down, like they do at Westlake. In addition, this summer, Randolph got a brand new roof. So lots of things happening this summer, lots of things happening now. Westlake High School, their football team is undefeated, 3-0. They had an electric game last Friday. It was on aired on TV. So we're just every day just trying to make sure that our buildings are in good shape, our kids are learning, and that we are using our tax dollars to the fullest. So I'll pause in case anybody has any questions.
Well, I'm excited. That's good news.
Absolutely. Somebody asked about the paving the parking lots at Randolph as part of the maintenance efforts. We've got to look at that, because some of our older schools, Randolph is actually in better condition than Stonewall Tail. The blacktop, you know how you used to go and put the blacktop all over it? They have some different solutions, so we need to look at that. One of the things this has jogged for me is we lock our gates, but what we have found is that sometimes people will go cut the locks off the gates and drag race in the parking lots, not realizing that, we have police officers that 24/7 are patrolling our grounds. So we need to find a solution around that, but a solution also for our older parking lots, and what does that look like, and how do we maintain them, and is it still like how I was growing up, where we wanted to keep the black top black and make it kind of match. But that's something that's been on my mind. So we definitely are looking at that.
Great.
Any other questions or concerns? Trying to think. The traffic at Westlake has been a little bit better. That's relative. One of the things that we have asked Mr. Adams to do, well, actually what they have done, we didn't ask them to do this, is they've been monitoring who is bringing kids into school. For some time, even after we verified, we were seeing tags from all over. And so they've been doing a really good job of following up on those cars and following up on those students, just to try to make sure that, we don't have, our congestion isn't because people coming into the community that don't necessarily are supposed to be there. So just lots of work around that. But I was just there tonight. The building looks good. Students are happy. And Sandtown, they are this weekend sending kids to the Technology Student Association core training up in North Georgia mountains. And so they are also planning an international trip this summer to Spain. So lots of good things happening for our kids and with our kids. We do have some kinks, just like when you're working with, people's children. But for the most part, I think families are really excited about this school year. It feels like a more normal year since we're not in the midst of traditional COVID. We have seen an uptick, in cases. But one of the things we've been stressing to kids is wear your mask. Some of them will, some of them won't. But just be aware, like in the community, there's a lot of COVID going on.
I have another question.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we've got a neighbor that lives off of Van Diver that talks about the challenges getting out of her driveway. And it made me wonder, I imagine the school buses have governors, but does transportation monitor whether they're speeding or not? Or is that a capability that's not in place yet?
No, we do. And actually, if a bus driver gets a ticket, so a lot of times, especially when those cameras came on, we get reports. And that's why we always ask for the bus number, because we can pull their tape. And so if they get ticketed, they get in trouble, they get written up. We take it very seriously. And one of the things that I've been in talks with Councilwoman Gums, and I think I've mentioned it to Councilwoman Rao, is that looking at how we manage traffic in that area, especially coming into Westlake from Publix, and especially coming in from Van Diver. I don't know if that's a turn lane. I know in some of our municipalities, they've worked to we've worked to give them easements so that they can get a turn lane going in from there. But just some additional traffic calming devices. We now have speed bunks at Westlake, where if you speed through the parking lot, it'll tear up your car. But I still think we need to do a little bit more. And Westlake does have turn lanes when you get in there. But I think it could benefit some other traffic calming. But those are some things that we would need to work with the city on. I'll give you an example. At one of our schools in, oh God, it's another area. I don't remember the name of it. I don't want to misspeak. But there's a lot of traffic in that area. It's up in Milton. And so one of the things that we've worked with their mayor is around them bringing an easement for us to approve so they can do some additional traffic calming. Because honestly, on Van Diver, that traffic is like, if you reach a certain time between 7:50 to about 8:40, it is standstill traffic. And we have asked parents to put kids on the bus and to do all of those things. I think we need to look at some more innovative things for us to continue to do, because it's really a hindrance for the families who live on there.
School board member Warren, I know that Councilwoman Gums has been in extensive conversations with Public Works for a solution around Van Diver. In addition, in our budget for this year, we have advocated and secured money because we want to extend the sidewalks all the way to Camilton Road. They stop. So I will definitely be following up with you as it relates to these, easement opportunities, because we also identified that both Union and Riverside Road could use some widening. It's very tight at Camilton Road. So but we have earmarked some money in the budget for that, as well as the dirt road off of Union Road. So that is in this year's budget. So this is as a result of the conversations we started last year about issues around schools.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things, so it's really interesting that you brought that up. And I thank you guys for reaching out to that. As a school district, we give easements and we work with the municipalities in a lot of areas to look at some of these traffic calming issues that we can do. So I appreciate that. I also want to point out, and this is probably a conversation Councilwoman Gums and Councilwoman Rao that we can talk about, is we have a lot of facilities like our tennis courts, we have tracks, we have soft baseball fields, and some of the other areas of the county, they will pay for the upkeep of it, and the city uses it for their parks and rec for some of the things they don't have. So that's one of the things that we maybe can work on for that. One of the things that we're doing with our audit for athletic facilities is that we've noticed is that tennis is very underutilized. Kids, sometimes it's an individual sport. It's not really a team sport. And so it's not getting a lot of use, but we do still have value in it. If we look at Chris, that was a graduate of Westlake, and look at what he did at the US Open. And so there may be some opportunities, especially for Sandtown Park, to use some of our facilities. And one of the municipalities that comes in mind that does that is Sandy Springs, because it's so tight up there. They agreed to the maintenance of it and they just use it for their programming. So that might be something that, when the renovations at Sandtown Park are done, if you say, hey, we need additional baseball field, or hey, we need an additional track, or hey, we want to do tennis here. Those are some things that we have worked out, some MOUs with other municipalities that we could definitely do. So that's something that we're all open for.
Definitely will be following up, just to let the community know the renovations at Sandtown, they're so close. We expanded and added the bathrooms on, but the facility is looking great. And I'm just waiting for them to say that we can schedule this grand opening, but stay tuned. If you pass by, you can tell the whole exterior has been done, but they're getting close to finishing up on the inside as well.
Fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous. A lot of good things happening. Ms. Warren, are you finished or
I
anything
am.
additional?
I don't have anything additional. I'll see you guys next time, and thank you guys for all that you do.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you for what you do as well. With that, Harvey, Marilyn, Donald, do you all have anything to share? Okay. Well, it is 8:03, everybody, and want to thank everybody who joined us tonight, and we will look forward to seeing you next month in October. Y'all have a good evening.
Sounds great. Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.